Christ, it's cold. It's Friday evening. It's January 17th, 2020. My hair looks horrible right now, so I'm wearing this. I actually realize now, this little beanie makes me look a little bit like Brad Leone from Bon Appetit. Not bad at all. Anyway, this was a great week this week. So last week I was like, I'm not sure, I got the call, they're gonna call me to sign the contracts, blah blah blah, I don't know if I'm actually in. I'm in. I got the job officially. I'm officially hired, and I'm coming in for my first meeting, my first actual work thing on Sunday. I was about to say tomorrow, but it's not tomorrow yet. It's only Friday. This is also the first time I'm summing up the week on Friday rather than Saturday, because I figured I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. Maybe I'm going to head out somewhere, go out to nature. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, so I'm just going to do it right now because it's the evening and I'm free and I've just been listening to podcasts and other stuff. So I just decided to film this thing right now. The very, very beginning of this week was actually really nice. The weather was really nice and sunny, so I went to the beach, captured a little bit more of the sea. I also said the first week I got this new iPhone that I'm probably not going to record stereo sound for the diary and the videos, like for any time I talk to the camera. And I've flipped back because this is being recorded in stereo, and I'm going to put this out in stereo because obviously I have the ability in the editing to only choose one of the two channels that records in stereo, and then I say, okay, so I want to use this channel in mono, and that's what it is. But comparing the sound, it sounds different when you record stereo versus mono, and I like it better when it's stereo. And I think the microphone is actually, it's not anywhere on the sides of the phone, but it's just like where the camera is, and that's really interesting. And so if I'm like centered in the frame, then I'm coming through in like both ears somewhat equally. But if I'm going off to like one side or the other side, like extreme sides of the screen, then I'm going to be mostly in that one ear of that side. It's really interesting how this works, and like again, I'm super fascinated. I'm just loving, still getting used to using this phone and actually like using it as a daily driver. It's my first phone that doesn't have a home button, like any physical or sensor type home button. First phone that has Face ID. First time I have 4K 4K video on both cameras, front facing and the back camera. I keep calling it the back camera. There must be a better term for it. I just don't know what it is. But anyway, this phone has been incredible. The battery life is so good. It's even better than I anticipated it to be, because I read all these reviews and I watched all these videos and like these battery tests where they were like doing like a showdown between a couple of different phones. This iPhone 11 Pro Max being one of them, and the iPhone 11 Pro Max always won in every single comparison. And I was going into this with this phone being like, it's gonna have really good battery life and it's gonna be great and I'm gonna be like really happy with it. And then I actually got it and I've been using it for like, I don't know what, like a week, 2 weeks, I don't even know what it's been now, but I've been using it for a while, and it's even better than I thought it was. Like I charge it once every 2 days maybe, and even then I charge it from like 35% up to 80, and that's it, once every 2 days. Like that's all I do. That's amazing. And also today I've been listening to some podcasts, just like a bunch of stuff. Been listening to some old Joe Rogan podcasts, and now listening to a Bill Burr podcast. And I was listening to a live recording of a podcast by some buddies. And I may have caught the podcast bug. Like I have a podcast that I started and did a couple episodes of it, and it wasn't even like a regular thing. I did like an episode, then like 3 months later another episode, and then a month later another episode, and that's it. But it is a platform that I created, and I have a couple people that are interested in more of those podcasts, and I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't know what to talk about for a podcast, because I can maybe do 20 minutes, maybe, I can do 10 minutes for sure, maybe 15, 20 if I really try. That's about it. But like a real podcast usually is like anywhere from an hour to 3 hours, I think. And I can't even imagine hearing myself talk for 3 hours straight without stopping for breaths or whatever. I can probably, do something maybe with friends. I can maybe edit it. Like, I can record a podcast over the course of a few days, but then also I've tried doing a similar thing with this diary. This is almost kind of like a podcast as well, because it's just rapid fire me talking and cutting from one sentence to the other with no breaths, no breaks, no thoughts in between. It's just me talking at the camera and just jump cuts. I can do a similar thing with a podcast, but it's something to think about. It's just like with the diary, I can just throw stuff at the wall. It's just a stream of consciousness. But I feel like with a podcast, it's gotta have more of a structure, and I gotta have like a list of bullet points and topics, things to talk about, because otherwise I just lose my train of thought, and I feel like it would be really uninteresting. I don't know if it would be boring, but it would be uninteresting to hear me just talk in circles and repeat myself once every 15 minutes, or go back to whatever. I wanted to share some thoughts with the diary. I just think it's interesting to document this stuff. Once again, throw stuff at the wall. So I have some stuff to think about, and next week is going to be great. I'm starting work, and it's nice to be here, nice to catch up, and I'll hopefully be back next week.